Hi everybody, so I'm going to model reading the story and retelling it orally, just like you're gonna do. But then you're also gonna do one more step that I've already modeled for you with down the road, and that would be filling out the graphic organizer, the beginning, the middle, and the end part. So I'm gonna read you this cute little story called An Extraordinary Egg. It is by Leo Leone. On Pebble Island, there lived 3 frogs, Marilyn, August, and one who was always somewhere else. That one's name was Jessica. Jessica was full of wonder. She would go on long walks way to the other side of Pebble Island and returned at the end of the day shouting, "Look what I found!" And even if it was nothing but an ordinary little pebble, she would say, "Isn't it extraordinary?" But Marilyn and August were never impressed. One day, in a mound of stones, she found one that stood out from all the others. It was perfect, white like snow, and round like the full moon on a midsummer night. Even though it was almost as big as she was, Jessica decided to bring it home. What do you predict that might be if I'm using the title, An Extraordinary Egg? I think this could maybe be what? Maybe it's the egg. I wonder what Marilyn and August will say when they see this, she thought as she rolled the beautiful stone to the small inlet where the 3 of them lived. "Look what I found," she shouted triumphantly, "a huge pebble." This time Marilyn and August were truly astonished. "That is not a pebble," said Marilyn, who knew everything about everything. "It's an egg, a chicken egg." "A chicken egg? How do you know it's a chicken egg?" asked Jessica, who had never even heard of chickens. Marilyn smiled. "There are some things you just know." A few days later, the frogs heard a strange noise coming from the egg. They watched in amazement as the egg cracked and out crawled a long, scaly creature that walked on 4 legs. "See," exclaimed Marilyn, "I was right. It is a chicken." "A chicken!" they all shouted. The chicken took a deep breath, grunted, and gave each of the astonished frogs a look, and said in a small, raspy voice, "Where is the water?" Straight ahead, the frogs cried out excitedly, "Is that a chicken?" I don't think so. The chicken threw herself into the water, and frogs dove in after her. To their surprise, the chicken was a good swimmer and fast, too, and she showed them new ways to float and paddle. They had a wonderful time together and played from sunup to sundown, and so it went for many days. Then, one day, when Jessica was somewhere else, August and Marilyn saw a commotion in the water below them. Someone was in trouble. Quickly, the chicken dove into the dark pool. August and Marilyn were frightened. Uh-oh. After a few long moments, the chicken reappeared, carrying Jessica. "I'm all right," she called. "I got tangled in the weeds, but chicken saved me." From that day on, Jessica and her rescuer were inseparable friends. Wherever Jessica went, the chicken went too. They traveled all over the island. They went to Jessica's secret thinking place, and to the Great Pebble Monument. One day, they went to a place where Jessica had never been before. A red and blue bird flew down from a tree. "Oh, there you are," it exclaimed when it saw the chicken. "Your mother has been looking all over for you. Come, I'll take you to her." They followed the bird for a very long time. They walked and they walked. They walked under the warm sun and the cool moon. And then They came upon the most extraordinary creature they had ever seen. It was asleep, but when it heard the little chicken shout, "Mother!" it slowly opened one eye, smiled an enormous smile, and in a voice as gentle as the whispering grass said, "Come here, my sweet little alligator." And the little chicken climbed happily onto her mother's nose. "Now it's time for me to go," said Jessica. "I'll miss you very much, little chicken. Come visit us soon, and bring your mother too." Jessica couldn't wait to tell Marilyn and August what had happened. As she neared the inlet, she shouted, "Guess what I found!" And she told them all about it. "And do you know what the mother chicken said to her baby?" Jessica asked. "She called her my sweet little alligator." "Alligator," said Marilyn. "What a silly thing to say." And the three frogs couldn't stop laughing. The end. So now I need to retell it, making sure that I use all of those important things like that are on our anchor chart for beginning, middle, and end. So here we go. So in the beginning of the story, there were three little frogs. Jessica was the main frog, then there were Marilyn and August. The three little frogs lived in an inlet on an island so they could be by the water. One day, Jessica liked to explore all around the island, and one day she found an extraordinary stone and brought it back so Marilyn and August could see it. When she brought it back to them, they said Marilyn said, "That's not a stone, that's a chicken egg." Jessica had never even heard of a chicken egg before. Next, a few days later, the egg cracked. Out came a four-legged, scaly creature that they thought was a chicken. So the chicken and the frogs played in the water. The chicken was a great swimmer and very fast too. One day, Jessica got stuck in the weeds at the bottom of the pond, and the chicken dove in and saved her. After that, they were inseparable friends and hung out all the time. Next, they went on an adventure to see Pebble Monument, and one day they went somewhere they had never gone before, and that's when a blue and red bird came down and said, "There you are," to the chicken. "Your mom has been looking everywhere for you." So then Jessica and the chicken followed the bird back to the chicken's mom. And there, Jessica said she saw the most extraordinary creature she had ever seen. And it was the chicken's mom. And the chicken's mom said, "Come here, my sweet little alligator." And then the alligator, or chicken, got on its mom's nose. And Jessica said, "Okay, I've got to go, but come visit sometime." And when Jessica got home, she told Marilyn and August all about what had happened. And then the mom said something that was so funny. She said, "Come here, my sweet little alligator." And Marilyn said, "Alligator?" And then the frogs, at the end, they just laughed and laughed and laughed. So I tried to use transition words like then, next, at the end, finally. Those are the different words that you use when you're retelling in order. I made sure to use the characters' names: August, Marilyn, Jessica, chicken, so we know what characters I'll talk about. I mentioned the setting, which was the inlet on the island, so that we know that they're obviously around water because there are frogs and alligators, right? So they need water. And then I made sure to tell the important events, like Jessica getting in trouble with the weeds and the chicken saving her, and then them going on an adventure to meet the mom. That's another important event. And then what happened at the very end of the story, that they both kind of had a happy ending. Chicken, that baby alligator, found its mom and got to be back with its mom. And then the frogs all got to be back together at their little inlet. So I told the story from beginning, middle, and end. I mentioned all the important details. I used the characters in the setting, and I told it in order. So that's what you're gonna need to do for me, okay? And then I want you to also show me your graphic organizer once you have that complete also, okay? So that is your activity for the week. Alrighty, bye.